So Ian, now let's assume that it's a small company and they don't have money to come to you yet.
Hmm.
If so, how can they sustain their social brand presence? Like, how can they come to a certain point until they come to somebody like you?
Well, it's like this. Now, one beautiful factor about social media is, and if you analyze the latest trends in social media platform itself, now Facebook itself suggests you automated ads, right? If you take, I think maybe 60% of the digital strategists in Sri Lanka, what they suggested will be the same suggested result. The audience, which been automatically suggested by Facebook itself, right? So if you want to be on the social media game and if you want to promote your business, Facebook will automatically help you without any technical knowledge from the automated ads. Now, Google is the same, right? So they can do ads of their own. But the thing is, now most of the people think boosting post works, right? Which is not the case. So you have to identify your proper audience. Now, if you are taking a certain product, right, you have to identify your proper audience, even with the automated ads, if you can tweak it in a way that you want to tackle it out. Because the way that you focus on one product, it's can be like 100% different from another product, even at the same brand, right? Because the customer thinking is so much different. So if you tap into that game, social media is one of the key factors, very cost-effective factors, even 10 times cost-effective than other medias. So still you can be on the game. Only thing is, if you want to go into a strategic level, like maybe a national level growth or maybe international level growth, that is where you need to consult a digital strategist. Otherwise, you will lose your money because the way you market in Sri Lanka is totally different wherever you market in UK, right? You need to understand that strategies. And since you are not in that current trends as SME or maybe a brand manager, you will lose a lot of money if you go into blind advertising. So that is where most of the guys will fail. But in a local context, even the automated ads will help you really well. If you take even most of the apparel guys, I think they started with Facebook and do wonders now.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to yet another MBA Diary session. Today, we have yet another interesting topic from an insightful person. So to present, or rather to welcome our speaker for this evening, I would like to welcome Dr. Rohanta, who is also the pioneer behind the MBA Diary series. Doctor, over to you.
Thank you very much, Ruth. So we have today a amazing human being, someone who does marketing of athletes. He's an entrepreneur, a business strategist, and a lecturer. He has over 15 years of experience commencing his career as a development executive at Iddamalgoda Limited, and from there has been part of Maya Creations. His corporate portfolio includes working with leading companies such as Chevron Lubricants, Lanka PLC, Jet Holdings, Platinum Luxury Condominiums, Labs, LOLC, to name a few. In 2018, he was co-founded Elearning.lk Private Limited, another platform that really shook the country. Ian holds a postgraduate diploma in marketing management, MBA, and is also currently reading for the PhD in SME technology adoption at the University of Singapore. He's also a member of the Rotary Club of Colombo Port City and holds a presidency for the year 2022 and 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chief Executive Officer of Maya Creations, co-founder, director of e-learning Private Limited, the person who really starts working closely with the National Olympic Committee. And that's where I actually met Ian, ladies and gentlemen, Ian Iddamalgoda. Ian, over to you.
Right. Thanks, Dr. Hunter. Thanks, Ruth. I think I'm clearly audible to everybody.
Yes, very clear, Ian.
Right, nice. Let me share my screen. Right. Okay, let's break the way I conduct my lectures, even at this this kind of session, a little bit different. So let's break the ice a little bit. I would like you guys to use the chat. you don't need to unmute your mic or anything, but just use the chat. I can see it from here whether you can answer it properly. Let's go to a small slide and see whether you guys identify one of these guys. You can use the chat. Everybody is allowed to use the chat, right?
Yes, they are.
Okay, cool. Guys, use the chat and just type it in their names if you recognize them. Right. On this on prompt. So basically, everybody knows Kobe, everybody knows Tiger Woods, everybody knows Messi. Now, if you take, these are like highly different type of sports, but everybody knows them, right? But if you take the Sri Lankan context, can anyone identify these three people? Right, since the time is running out, I'll just quickly go through it. Like, so everybody knows Sangha, everybody knows Lucian, everybody knows Susantika, right? And if I ask from here onwards, if anybody knows one of these three, or at least one name out of this, one is Nadisha Ramanayaka, there is Tushan Silva, Ransi Ujatilaka, Amasha, right? I'm pretty sure there must be like very randomly one person, oh yeah, I have heard of her or him, or I have seen them on TV, or maybe not, maybe on social media, or maybe on a channel. So these three, even two gentlemen and one lady. Now these guys are the people who brought in a gold medal. I specifically mentioned these three. These are the very recent ones. Now, if you take Nadisha, after Darsha, Damayanti Darsha, she is the one who took a gold medal in 400 meters after 23 years, right? If you take Tushan for an example, after 70 years, 72 to be exact, these guys, brought a medal to Sri Lanka, right? Even Ransilu on weightlifting, Amasha on again sprinting, right? The thing is, this is where we started to thought of, because I work in a digital, my company is a digital marketing firm, and I should give the credit to Crispo. Crispo has started a program where they want to empower the rural level athletes, right? So this is where the actual need came up. Everybody knows the popular sports, but even at a gold medalist, on these sports, athletic-based sports, even at a gold medalist, they were never seen on TV. They were never given the exposure which was needed, and they were never highlighted on any terms of an event in terms of sports type of marketing. This is where the need came up with. So if we are into marketing, so there should always be a need where, or there should always be an opportunity where we can capitalize, right? So this is where a program called Next Champ started crafting in. So the sole sponsor for program is Crispo. I'm not doing any kind of marketing for them, but they since they funded it, I have to mention their names. So don't think this is any kind of a marketing thing. It is just only because there's a sponsor, right? So the Crispo, this vision actually came from my CEOs and the managing director. They wanted to uplift the rural communities. They want to uplift, the athletic in the rural community where they will be the next champions in the country. So this is where everything was started, right? So before I joining into the program, they have started with a mission, scout the athletes in the rural areas. This has been done by various type of things. They have contacted the local authorities. They have contacted some sort of, there are clubs for certain sports. They have contacted the NOC, that is National Olympic Committee, and they have contacted a few of the trainers that we have in the country, and they have started slowly scouting in the talent, the proper talent, where they can even go to the Olympic level. So first one, when they started the program, it was never about the Olympics. They wanted to build a national level player. That is where everything started, right? That was the mission. So you know the vision, this was the mission, right? So the first one, as you know, majorly in the marketing, if you started in somewhere around 2014, 2013 era, the first item that you come into mind, if you want to build the national level awareness for anything, the TV is the first one to go. But since this was a CSR activity, they have gone with Channel I, and they have started the weekend program. We are started at 9:30 and ran for like half an hour, which ran to up to 73 episodes, right? But even as being a marketer, even who has been like kind of interest in these type of flows from the school times, even I was not aware that this type of program is running on Channel I, because of the viewership is very like limited, I might say, compared to other channels. And this is where they got us got involved to build up the contract, whether we can do it in a digital, like rather than going into the traditional media, whether we can pump it on digital, right? And to give you a small brief and small statistics on how social media like landscapes are now currently, like when we started in 2018 is a different case, but just to give you a small heads up, because I thought of including these slides here, we have 21 million people in the country, 21.5 to be exact. Out of that, 11.3 million has access to internet. This is due to Corona and a lot of things. But even before Corona, Sri Lankan growth rate was in a very high level, where kind of like 500,000 people each year comes into the internet platforms, and half of them minimum comes to the social media platform as well. So if you take the current statistic, this is February 2022, the latest one that we have from Social Bakers, right? So now we have out of 21 million people, 8.2 million people has access to social media account, which can be Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or YouTube if you take as social media, right? So Facebook itself has somewhere around 7 million outreach, and YouTube has close to again 7 million outreach. So we wanted to capitalize these platforms and started banning our wagon, right? Then what we did was we immediately started to because in Sri Lanka most of them the kind of like Twitter thing doesn't work on these kind of thing. TikTok was not there when we started it. It was not a hype. If we are to start it right now, TikTok will be one of the major platforms, because we wanted to take that viral awareness out, right? So we are working on it. When we started it, our two prime networks were, one is Facebook. So we created a page and started building up the community there. And the second one is the YouTube page. So what we did was the initial content that we had, the telecasted programs that we had, we got everything down from Channel I, and from with the recording center, we started building our YouTube channel, right? But in Sri Lankan context, getting a YouTube channel in terms of sport like this was not that much popular. I'm telling you guys the learnings that I have. So if you want to tap into this game or tap into this kind of a architecture, most of the time Facebook will work rather than YouTube, unless you create kind of like hook type content and get the users into view it, but that is not sustainable, right, and ethical as well. So we started building our community in the NextChamp Facebook page. There was so much of hype, and we guaranteed Crispo when we get the campaign, there was somewhere around the reach and impression. Reach was somewhere around 50,000 or somewhere around 30,000. We guaranteed them we're going to uplift it that to 500,000, right? So these were the KPIs for them. We're going to uplift it to the 500,000. We're going to improve the impressions to another 0.7 million. And the average growth rate of the page will be somewhere around 12,000 per month. And the engagement somewhere around 10 to 20,000, right? But within 3 months, because of the content that we've been delivering, we were starting getting so much of hype within the page itself. That is where we thought we need to do more documentaries, more profile videos, and create more article and content around these athletes that we are doing it. Because earlier what we did was we made a graphic post and we did the introductional video about or a caption about her. But from there onwards, we started slowly building up, making a profile video of each athlete, because the two taglines, two mottos that I use, the mission that we had as an agency was opportunity and exposure. So more the exposure that you get, the more opportunities these guys will have in terms of getting a sponsorship, right? I will tell you how critical it was for these people, because I personally went with my team to get the videos done. The living standard of these people are very poor, right? Of these athletes, even though they are very potential of winning a gold medals at that stage, right? They didn't have the proper infrastructure to get trained. Their meal plans were, they can't afford it, to be really honest, right? Because you need the nutrition level to be pumped up if you want to go into that type of records, right? Then the logistic issues, because most of these athletes are living close to at least 5 to, if you the closest, the ground that they do the training and all, are somewhere around 7 to 10 kilometers, right? So they have to come by bus. They can't do training till the late night because buses are not there. So a lot of hassles. And most of them are not from Colombo. They are from outstations. So the pure talent was actually at that outstations. So this is where we started building profile videos and educating our local communities, our nation, that these guys are running with very crucial living, very low living standards. So therefore, we need our community to help them and, you know, like empower them and enrich them and support them to grow up. So this is where, let me show you a small video of Tharushi, which we did kind of like 5 to 6 years ago, right? One of the first videos. So this is on the page.
මගේ තාත්තා රියදුරෙක් මගේ අම්මා පාසලේ කාර්යාලකාරී සහායක කෙනෙක්. ඒ දිනකට ලොකු සැහැල්ලුවක් අපිට මේ විශ්ව ආයතනයේමුත් නැෂනල් ඔලිම්පික් කමිටුවේමුත් කරන සහයෝගය ඉස්සරහා ක්‍රීඩා කටයුතු මට සාර්ථක කරගෙන යාමට විශ්ව ආයතනයේමුත් නැෂනල් ඔලිම්පික් කමිටුවේමුත් මට ලොකු සහයෝගයක් ලැබෙනවා. ඒ පිළිබඳව මම විශ්ව ආයතනයටත් නැෂනල් ඔලිම්පික් කමිටුවේකටත් බෙහෙවින් ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා.
And since this is not a confidential info, I will to show these as well. Right, this is in 2020. A letter she has written to the Secretary of Olympic National Olympic Committee, where she has requested whether she can get a quarter or maybe some kind of accommodation near the practice grounds, because the logistic costs are really high for her to come from the place that she was living in currently, right? So this was the situation at that time. And hold on, let me go back to my presentation. Right. So from there, while we were doing kind of like close around 30 to 40 videos, each athlete, after the video, the first question or the first request they asked us was, can you help us in terms of funding, right? Or can you help us to buy a new sneaker or the spikes? Or can you help us to buy some sort of equipment that they require to get into the higher levels? So at that time, again, we sat together and we realized, the management and ourselves, that this is high time that we should jump the next curve. Because in Sri Lanka, just by providing the exposure and just by providing the awareness to the nation will not work if you can't properly help these guys to grow up. That is where we came up to the NOC, that is National Olympic Committee, and we asked them if we can come for a partnership and if we are even willing to sponsor a few of them at that start, right? Will you be able to come for a partnership and grow these guys? Because in terms of sports, they are the regulatory body or the regulatory authority if you want to push out an Olympian from Sri Lanka, right? So they know the statistics, they know the training, they have the skills of developing someone from ground up to Olympian, right? So we asked them if we can sponsor, we can't sponsor many of them. At least if we can sponsor a small pool of people, if you give us a recommenders list, we will help them and we will guide them, support them with the funding, and you can guide them to be an Olympian, right? This is where the CRISPO Next Champ with Olympic Committee first thing started. So as you can see, if you want to market something, and just because you are doing really well in terms of statistics, that doesn't matter if it doesn't cover the original objective that you started the program, right? So if you are making awareness and people are getting know about these athletes and they don't have proper infrastructure to go to that level, again, we consider self as a failure, right? For this explosive partnership, what we did was we came up, we listed 20 athletes and we started sponsoring them. CRISPO started sponsoring them with 1 million rupees in terms of, having their basic needs sorted, right? This didn't cover any equipment. This is their nutrition needs, their logistics, and all the other required needs, just for them to be on the sport rather than leaving thing. Now, one of the major drawbacks of this like in Sri Lankan athletic programs and athletics is after your school times, because at your school times, there are some sort of program that will support you to grow up. But after you go there, if you don't do a proper job and if you don't have proper income, it's really hard to sustain in the ecosystem, right? So what we did was we wanted to get that motivation and the hype up. So we started partnering up with the NOC and we started funding 20 athletes, right? So this is something I'm really proud of, right? When we started the program in 2021 January, right? We predicted Tarushi is going to be the next Susantika for Sri Lanka, right? She has the capacity to go into the Olympics and bring a gold medal to Sri Lanka once again. So we were eagerly waiting for so much years now, right? So making that hopes and dreams blossom, she is actually on the pathway of building that. So that is something we are really proud of. Yeah, I think you guys have seen this on billboards as well, because the Crispo and ourselves, we had a we integrated marketing plan, not in digital, because this is something that we want to grow up. So we started doing graphics and everything into the billboards as well, and the papers and everything, right? So this is went as an integrated campaign where I build up the exposure in the national level, not by in social media, right? Then the issue kept on coming, even though we were facilitating them with their most critical needs. They were continuously requesting us, can we support us with the equipment? Can we support us with all the other stuff that they needed, even on training pairs and all that? So this idea continuously, this request continuously came up even from the NOCN. So we were not in a position where we can fund furthermore in terms of the equipment. That's where we came up with a new idea. This is probably the even in South Asian scale, right? Even in Asian scale, this is probably the only platform where you have the authenticated fundraising mechanism and analytics for the athletes, right? So this is kind of like ESPN for cricket and all the other games, right? So they fund statistics platforms, right? So what we want to do is, if someone want, let's say a certain brand, let's anyone of you in the MBA program want to find someone you need to sponsor, right? Even can be see or any brand, right? There was not a certain mechanism where you can find who are the top performing athletes are at that time. So these statistics was to be it's not nice to say, but even at NOC level, it was not there, because all were on maybe on Excel sheets or anything. There was no public platform. So we wanted to tap into that gap where we saw each time we publish something on our Facebook pages and start marketing these athletes, like with their statistics and their latest winnings and their record time, even though they don't win a race, we continuously post their performance upgrades on our platforms. Yeah, so people actually came up and said, I would like to support this girl, or I would like to support this guy, or I would like to give something for them, even for the family, or support with the logistics with them, right? So there was this frequent request coming on the other parts as well. That is where the need and when two dots got connected, right? So we built this platform. I'll show you in a bit. And out of our 20, Tarushi was there. This is her profile, right? Each player has their own profile. And with that, what we requested from the NOCN was frequently update their achievements and the timeline and their galleries if they are winning something, and their frequent stats of their main performance. So we want to build this up. The first phase of the program, it was not that much successful, but we are on the second phase now. And this time we are going to go with agreement with NOC. This is kind of like a mandatory thing, because sole idea of developing this platform was to give exposure and ask brands or any person who can support this guy to come forward, right? So after we develop this, this is what I'm actually want to highlight, right? Now, today we are really proud of her winning a gold medal, right? But at that stage, she actually wanted a spike, so which they couldn't offer. I think you saw the first primary video that we did in 2019. right? So her father is a driver, and mom stays at home and do odd jobs. They couldn't afford this. So at that time, if a platform like this didn't exist, right, and we couldn't support her at that space, this gold medal, and we are so proud of, and we are talking about, even I'm so proud that I'm talking about, was just being a dream, was being just a hope. Or she might have left the games, and she must be into education right now, because she knows there's no career development in there, because they can't afford the small equipments and everything that they want to do, right? So this helped them. This is Tarun is only a single one. There are so much of people in the platform who got, even Amandika, who was in Sri Lanka. There's another shooter. She got some of the I don't remember the equipment that she wanted. It's with the rifle. She got the funding, and there was another two guys who got the funding out of this. So people eventually got their supportive mechanism running through with this platform, and we kept on pushing out the marketing of each athlete. We didn't focus on single one. That all 20, we were pushing out content, educating all the communities who was engaging with us, right? This is the page that you can people can come and donate. So within a day, we were really proud of it. Within a day, she got her paired Nikes paired to her, right? And with that, our since the community was really well, we were growing in so rapid scale from 5,000 to 6,000 followers, from 2,000 followers per month. We ramp up within like 2 years, we ramp up to 50,000. And even at the peak times, we are having somewhere around 2.6. If you are into digital and you know basics of the digital, we have 2.6 reach and 2.8 million impressions, right? 2.6 million out of that 7 million I spoke about from social media. We kind of like have 2.6 million people covered. If you are not seeing an ad or not an ad, if you're not seeing any content, that is most of the time that you are not that much engaged with the sport. But we want to tap into that arena who are not really interest on these athletic and those type of games, because there are so much of popular sports in Sri Lanka, but we need to build this ecosystem, right? So we have been keep on pushing the envelope, keep on pushing with the innovations, not sticking to one. Still we are not kind of like stagnating, or we are really proud of what we are here, what we are at, but we want to go there, and we are on the pathway, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, what we would like to request is I'll show you the platform that I developed, and we are working on the phase 2 as well. This is a really interesting area if you try to get your awareness and to help these communities up, because everybody talks about Usain Bolt. Even one, like if I go to 10 motivational or something similar career building or any seminar, everybody speaks about Usain Bolt, right? We had a legacy, we spoke about Susantika, but not so far, because after 20 to maybe 30 years of time, you can't, play the same bandwagon, right? So we need to develop these guys. And as I showed you earlier, not like before, in the very recent times, not like ourselves, there are so many other pages also supporting this community, like Sidon Sport and all that, even Dialogue is supporting it. Now, with that, these gems, even diamonds, you can say, are getting crafted and they are getting polished. So we need to help this community, and I've been doing this for all the time. And each where I got it, I don't speak about Usain Bolt. I speak about the latest person who won a gold medal, which most of the 95% of the people in the arena doesn't know about, right? So we need to build up this awareness. We need to build up these communities, and we need to support them. So that is my brief session for the day. Right? I will show you a few of the platforms. Just a second. So if you take the exam page, these are photos. So you get ample of content as I show you each time, each event. Just like the NOC, we are very prompt, we are very active. We have a total dedicated teams who are working in it, because we are very passionate about building these guys. This is nothing about having agency and having a contract. We keep on pushing on news. Like if you take the main channel, so these are the few of the videos. We keep on developing content. Some of the players you might not have heard yet, but I'm pretty sure in 1 or 2 years to come, these guys are going to be the gold medalists as well, right? So we kept on developing that. And if you take the next Olympic platform that we spoke about, if you go to the players. So these were the players that we sponsored. And out of these, I think almost 80% of them has already won gold medals, right? We were not there in the main list. So these are not scale 1 players. If you like, I think most of the guys know Yupun, right? So these are the athletes that we are directly focusing on gold medal in the Olympics in the recent times. But these are the middle sector or the bottom layer, right? Because when you get into the higher rankers, you always get the fellow like the sponsorships and all the media hypes. But these are the ones we need to nurture. Even at our cricket or any other sports, the popular sports in Sri Lanka, we need to have that ground tier or the second tier to be nurtured to be the better leaders. So we are continuously working on them. This is Amandika I spoke about. Netmi, I think you guys have seen. She won the gold medal in South Asian Games. So pretty good. Right. So that's my brief. You can ask any questions. I was given kind of a 20 minutes time, but I spoke a little extra, I think. Sorry, Rohanta, for that.
Thank you very much, Ian. Fantastic. Really fantastic. I mean, a lot of questions are coming in. I'll pick up 1 or 2 of them. What do you think is the retentivity of people who have now you have Tarushi has about 2.6 million, I think, viewers, which is on Facebook. Is that right?
Yeah, Facebook. Yeah.
Facebook. So what is the retention of these people over a period of 12 months?
That's the challenge that we have, Rohanta, to be really honest, right? Now, what happened is if you take, you're asking about Tarushi and the players itself, no? Not the community, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about Tarushi.
Yeah. So what happened is after the school times. Now, if you go into the university itself, again, I'm sorry to say, but we have a box culture in our community, in our universities also. So they are not they are not facilitated to run with the sports arena, but they are same way they are accredited. I'm evaluated with the academics also. But I think with the recent times, I should congratulate and should acknowledge the newer VCs that are coming in, vice chancellors. They are open-minded. Because I have seen Amasha Silva, who's in Jawaharlal University, right? She also won a gold medal, but the system supports her rather than isolating them. What I have seen is last 15 years, there has been so much of isolation and neglected these guys. They have even lost the confidence on having a record in sales. And there are worst case scenarios when your child is performing and the parents can't support her. There was one case in Kandy, the father has committed suicide, because the child was performing really well, but he couldn't afford the equipments that she wanted to. So he has gone through depression and he committed suicide, right? And that kid was living with the coach when I met her. So that brought tears to my eyes. So I think as an ecosystem, that's why I said always use the ecosystem word. So this is not something that we, one way avenue. We have to build that ecosystem around them. So that is where we can retain them. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure winning a gold medal is just a dream for any of us.
Okay. Ian, so if you take a brand, for instance, you can do the same thing on a brand. Now, I suppose, do you have any good examples of how you have built a brand?
You mean like athletic brand or?
A product, a consumer brand.
Yeah. So just like in here, understanding the need. And, for me, brand is a promise. So each time I acquire a brand or I work with a brand, first thing I ask him, tell me your USP and tell me your values and tell me your promise. Right? So if you can't deliver a promise to your customers, I think marketing can do a very little there. So the substance now, not like in earlier days with the digital, the booming on digital, right? You get so much of exposed, you can't build brands by telling, selling a fake product, right? So what you need to build is you need to have proper values built into the brand, and there onwards you have to continuously deliver the promise. So I recently, half an hour ago, when I was making my slides, I actually watched a video from Jeff Bezos, right? So Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. So from Elon, the reporter asked, do you believe that Tesla will work? So he said, no, I didn't believe in that Tesla will be one of the best companies in Sri Lanka, but I strongly believe I should deliver what I promised to my customers, which is having a car can run on extra mile, not the electric cars that at that time will look nicer, look very beautiful rather than a generic electric car. And he had a faster charging time. So I delivered that promise. So everybody adopted it. And Jeff said, see, I never believed Amazon will be the #1 company in the world, but I always focused on the customer experience. I always spoke to my customers who dropped off from the carts and asked them what happened, what went wrong. Are we doing the way that I was supporting with the solutions that we required? So that is how the brand itself has become to the one of the largest brands in the world. That is something that I think every brand should do.
So what you're saying is, unless the brand focuses on enriching the customer experience, you cannot just let only the communications sustain the brand. So what you're saying is, in other words, the product must perform. It's only then that the communication can work. So in the current trends, do you see that like Instagram is slowly picking up and beating Facebook, or do you feel that yet Facebook has attraction in Sri Lanka?
Well, it's like this. Now, if you take the demographics of Instagram and Facebook, right? So Sri Lanka, we are laggards now, to most cases, not even late adapters, right? But why Instagram is actually booming is most of the teens are now actually in the Instagram space, right? If you take most of the time, ages from even 16, they fake it and come up. From 16 to 35, they are in the arena itself on Instagram. And these guys are hyperactive. This is a psychological factor. I'm like the behavioral factor. If you take the teens now, if you go for a function, what we do is we go and to talk to one or two guys, right? But if you take the teens nowadays, even they don't speak to the person next to them. Yeah, they are very comfortable chatting over the phone, putting a like and going on live and all those stuff. So this behavior actually pumps up the user experience time on its platform itself. That's why they are booming, right? So even though if you are not on Instagram, since your major of your friends are, you have to jump into the platform. Otherwise, you get isolated from the community. That's why they are booming. But in Sri Lankan context, Facebook still works. And it will be one of the, I'm pretty sure it will surpass the national channels, the traditional channels as well pretty soon. Because the target advertising and the community outreach is really powerful in Facebook.
So Ian, now let's assume that it's a small company and they don't have money to come to you yet. If so, how can they sustain their social brand presence? Like how can they come to a certain point until they come to somebody like you?
Well, it's like this. Now, one beautiful factor about social media is, and if you analyze the latest trends in social media platform itself, now Facebook itself suggests you automated ads, right? If you take, I think maybe 60% of the digital strategists in Sri Lanka, what they suggested will be the same suggested result. The audience, which been automatically suggested by Facebook itself, right? So if you want to be on the social media game and if you want to promote your business, Facebook will automatically help you without any technical knowledge from the automated ads. Now, Google is the same, right? So they can do ads of their own. But the thing is, Now, most of the people think boosting post works, right? Which is not the case. So you have to identify your proper audience. Now, if you are taking a certain product, right, you have to identify your proper audience, even with the automated ads, if you can tweak it in a way that you want to tackle it out. Because the way that you focus on one product, it's kind of like 100% different from another product, even at the same brand, right? Because the customer thinking is so much different. So if you tap into that game, social media is one of the key factors, very cost-effective factors, even 10 times cost-effective than other medias. So still you can be on the game. Only thing is, if you want to go into a strategic level, right? Maybe a national level growth or maybe international level growth, that is where you need to consult a digital strategist. Otherwise, you will lose your money, because the way you market in Sri Lanka is totally different wherever you market in UK. Right, you need to understand that strategies, and since you are not in that current trends as SME or maybe a brand manager, you will lose a lot of money if you go into blind advertising. So that is where most of the guys will fail. But in a local context, even the automated ads will help you really well. If you take even most of the apparel guys, I think they started with Facebook and do wonders now.
So Ian, how does ChatGPT? I mean, do you think are they also helpful in terms of driving content?
Yeah. Now, since I'm in the tech arena, right? How do I put this? Now, only drawback I have on ChatGPT is, now, if you take the Google algorithms or anything, what they do is they refine their content on the by the content which are available on, let's say, like Wikipedia or the other, right? What ChatGPT does is he also scouts the similar content and write a like summarized version of it to be right. So what happened is, when Google crawls once again, he's not learning something new. He's learning from the scale, like ChatGPT content is something that you summarize from some other way, right? So there's no new knowledge has been created out of it. So that is where the technical drawback comes up. So the crawlers are again learn from that, and they will automate the ads and all the other things based on it. So which will give you a false advertising mechanism. But if you are a layman, see, if you know how to properly use the tools right in a proper way, there are multiple ways you can excel your talents as well. Right now, most of the cases when you get people started writing assignments out of it, right? Rather than just copy and pasting it, if you get a certain outline. See, the one of the major cases, yesterday I submitted a report and I asked ChatGPT, show me the latest trends in YouTube now. So he made me a small bullet point content, and from there I started writing based on that. So it's very effective when to get a guideline, but you should write your own content. It's one of the many things that you should do. You should never copy from ChatGPT or anything else, but to get the things compared. Now ChatGPT 4.0 has a comparison option, right? Earlier, especially for you, if you want to do market research, now ChatGPT kind of like allows it. So if you take, let's say ABC brand and ask them what is ABC brand competitors, they will scout and they will even show you competitors who are not on your market mind as well. So at that way, ChatGPT is really helpful, but you should not use it for layman stuff.
Okay, Ian. So are you saying that the human element is yet never going to take over what technology is going to do? Is that what you're recommending?
Yeah, it will never will. So it's like this. Now, if you take the example that I can tell you, Rohanta, now when you build the calculator, right? Yeah, people who doesn't know mathematics or basics of mathematics can do calculations, right? But even with that, it improves the efficiency. And people who actually need a sort of tool like calculator, their efficiency gets like 3 times, like quadruple times upgraded, right? So which means as a world, as a curve, we are jumping one curve ahead. So tools like internet, tools like ChatGPT, tools like AI will actually uplift the curve of the humanity. That is something that will do. So it will never outreach a human being. because people will always find a creative way to beat the technology and, build the next curve. So these are just facilitating platforms. The creative, now, if you take, for me, I always think, people always go in a circular motion, right? Even with the, religion, it was mentioned, right? We always go for a circular motion. Now, even at the fashion, you go to like long frocks and you got to short skirt. Again, you are going to the long frocks, right? Even with, if you take the brands, we from unified, very what do you call this, customized branding to we went up to the mass scale. And again, when if you these days, everybody is trying to do a unique personalized branding for each customers. So this is goes as a circular motion. It's always people will find creative way to uplift the economy, uplift the humanity. The technology will never outreach them. So that's something I strongly believe in. Only thing is, Madam, you have to jump the curves. You can't be a stagnating guy and, I don't need this and all that. So internet outreach too. Social media is pulling you into the system. So you have to, row with the terms.
So even if you take suggestive AI, which ChatGPT is suggestive AI, how does a person get the best out of suggestive AI?
Well, that's it. So any cases now, writing to content or maybe you do a comparison, anything, ChatGPT is really helpful. But only thing is when you do it in a false, mysterious way, that is where the errors and everything comes up. But even with ChatGPT now, let me say now when Siri and Amazon Alexa was introduced, right? For me, even being a tech guy, all my schedules, all my notes, even everything, I do it with Siri. So he actually eases my life a lot. So suggestive AI was the missing link, right? Because even if you search on Google, it will show you something, but you can, do count and do the comparison or kind of like interactive thing. You can do it with the search engine. So this is the next level of the search engine, right? So kind of like that. So articles were replaced by videos, the textbooks were replaced by PDFs. So it's just we are evolving. That's about it. So
do you feel a time is going to come where suggestive AI might sometimes give you an itinerary for a person who is living overseas in Sri Lanka better than a human?
well, I don't think so. Because if you take the core of marketing or anything, the empathy factor, the emotional connection factor will never be developed by an AI for me to say, right? So when you are speaking to someone and that person started crying for out of the blue, there will be a involvement of the AI for that certain extent. But at that time also we will be evolved for some other status, right? So now I don't think, now if you take even the support system, most of the support systems now use AI, suggestive AIs and regenerative AIs, but they are not effective as, talking to a human being. So while technology grows into that, people will come to that empathy and all these feelings will be up. Now, if you take the US, I was recently reached about the US trends. I was surprised to see astronomy was in top 5 categories. So astronomy is something that we are kicking out from our culture. So we do that in all the time. So we kicked out what do you call this, organic agriculture, and now everybody wants to do organic agriculture. So astrology we kicked in out. The South Asian market we kicked them out. Yet now the Western is adopting astrology and the spirituality and everything. See, so the human beings are evolving into a next level where technology can't adapt to that extent. What I believe is, so the human touch will always be on top of a suggestive AI or maybe even something powerful than that.
Thank you very much, Ian. Amazing discussion, and a degree from Sri Javadalpur University, postgraduate diplomas from Javadalpur, masters, and now studying for the PhD in SME technology. You really demonstrated how you're on top of the game, Ian. Not only on the service of athletics and athletes, but it's also to do with brands and it's to do with the future. And fantastic knowing you. I think, if you ask me, I think one of the most useful people of action MBA diaries that we've had is it's from you. Ian, Ruth, over to you. Ruth, you there? We can't hear you. Yeah.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Wonderful. I totally agree with you, Doctor. Today's presenter has really shown us and showcased to the students what one can do indeed, and quite noble, if I may say so, where Mr. Ian, you not only discover but also help nurture, you bring a community together on a platform to nurture our athletic talent, which is indeed remarkable and very new as well. So it's amazing work you're doing, and it shows when we have our young talent going out there and really succeeding, it brings pride and joy to each and every one of us, I must say. So thank you so much for the work you're doing, and also for being part of our webinar today and sharing your journey, your struggle with our students and our audience as well on Facebook. So with this, we've reached the end of our session today. I'd like to thank Mr. Ian once again for being with us, our students, the audience, our tech team for the technical support. And before we close, I'd like to just remind everybody that at EPIC we have our intensive internship program. So if you do have any vacancies in your organizations, do share it across with us. And also, the recently launched MS in Marketing Management program is available. So if you have an interest in upskilling yourself and also, coming up with great ideas like our speaker today, do call in or email or even walk in. So there's that.
Yeah. So I need to thank Dr. Ohanta and yourself too for the wonderful things that you guys are doing. Now, what actually, as an entrepreneur, as a guy in the industry, what we really want is this industry knowledge to be transferred to our MBAs, because MBA itself is a professional qualification, right? You can't be excel on every industry, but you can learn many things from many, when you associate with many, right? So the final remarks I want to give you guys is, because we were talking about the AI part of it, if you are doing a routine job, I can make sure like 300% it will be replaced. Earlier, I used to say it in 5 years. Now, most probably it will be replaced in 2 years in the world context, right? So if you are doing a routine job, it's high time that you should scale yourself and jump the curve to the next curve, right? Which MBA on Appit will really support you with. The second one is, there's a motto that I will use: think like a lion and fly like an eagle. You might not be the smartest guy, you might not be the strongest guy, you might not be the largest or the heaviest guy, yet you can be the number one if you have the lion mindset, right? Think like a lion and always fly like an eagle. Eagles never fly on low altitude. They are so much focused with sheer speeds. Have a focused mindset on your goals that you want to go, and always fly with another eagle. You will learn a lot of things, right? So that's my conclusion. Thank you so much for inviting me, and always been a pleasure to share my knowledge with you guys.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you. All the very best. And ladies and gentlemen, if anybody of y'all want a person who is really driving digital strategy, linking up with AI and pushing your brand, please contact Ian. He's at Maya. You can see the beautiful name here at the back. And all the best, Ian. Lovely meeting you.
Thank you very much, Randa. Take care.
And with this, we wrap up our session. Have a good day, good afternoon, and a good evening from wherever you're joining us. Till the next session. Take care.